Unsurprisingly, there are numerous Easter eggs and cultural references peppered throughout World of Warcraft. We've already visited Azeroth once, but with so much to cover, we wanted to take a look at a few more of the most interesting and funny references to appear throughout World of Warcraft. In Zul'Aman, there is a human NPC named Harrison Jones, who is apparently an archaeologist. His name is clearly a play on Harrison Ford's famous character, Indiana Jones, and when talking to him, he'll don a pretty familiar looking hat. If the name and the hat weren't enough proof, Harrison also references one of Indy's famous traits from his movies, a hatred of snakes. Later, you'll find him in a tomb in Grizzly Hills, where he frees a black-haired human female and fights a giant snake mob. Another possible reference to Indiana Jones's franchise is a broken plane in Nagrand. The plane has snakes in the cockpit, similar to the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Of course, this could also be a more straightforward reference to the infamous snakes on a plane.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
Stone Talon Mountains is home to a huge robot NPC with a diving helmet and a saw on his arm named Big Papa. BioShock's Big Daddies have diving helmets and drills on their arms, so the resemblance is pretty unmistakable. Also next to Big Papa stands Andorov Ryan, a reference to Andrew Ryan, one of the main antagonists from the first BioShock game. BioShock Infinite also gets a nod with the NPC Elizabeth Birdsong in Stormwind City. In addition to her dress and hairstyle looking similar, she indirectly references her origin with one of her quotes, "The possibilities are infinite."
Oh, this is wonderful! Oh, come dance with me, Mr. Twin.
I don't dance. Come on, let's go.
Why? What could be better than this?
So I have this idea for a great movie.
One of the silly commands by human male characters has the character explain their idea for a very familiar sounding movie trilogy. The plot is obviously just J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy, or Ruler of the Bracelet, as he calls it. He even lays out titles for each part of the trilogy: the Brotherhood of the Bracelet, A Couple of Towers, and the climactic finish, Hey, Look, the King's Back. Elwyn's Forest Crystal Lake is a reference to the location of the same name in slasher movie classic Friday the 13th. The fishmonger at the lake is named Jason Mathers, a reference to the chainsaw-wielding antagonist from the series. If you ask a nearby guard about the fishing trainer, he mentions that Jason once fished up a strange mask from the lake. Blizzard loves to throw in references to its older works throughout their catalog of games, and WoW is no exception. A quest obtained in Uldaman called The Lost Dwarves references one of Blizzard's earliest games, The Lost Vikings. The dwarves' names are the same as those in The Lost Vikings: Eric, Balog, and Olaf.
Listen, I'm trying to say that if we stick together, there's no obstacles. Oh no, back up, oh no!
Another reference to the Lost Vikings can also be found in Uldaman, Ironian's Chamber. Requires the Staff of Sol and Amulet of Ginnikiv to open. Sol and Ginnikiv are lost and Viking spelled backwards. One of the sadder Easter eggs you'll find is appropriately found at the Shrine of the Fallen Warrior. There is a memorial to the orc with the initials MK. This is a reference to former Blizzard illustrator Michael Koiter. In case the tribute was too subtle, you can also visit the memorial and meet a spirit healer named Koiter. There are actually two different references to the titular character from the 1980s TV show MacGyver in different locations in WoW. A troll named Mac Diver is a likely reference to the action hero based on the designation as a master engineer. And in Valgard, a gnome named McGoiver is also doing engineer things. He's trying to fix a gnomish biplane, presumably with a paperclip and chewing gum.
All right, hot shot. So you got a golden palomino between your knees and no rings. Now what?
Not even Disney is safe from Blizzard's spoofing. Near the Westfall Brigade encampment, you'll find references to the entire cast of animated classic Bambi. Bambina, Mother of Bambina, Flora, and Thudder. Of course, it wasn't enough to just put them in the game. Occasionally, a mob called Westfall Brigade Hunter spawns and shoots Mother of Bambina. This is where the similarities to the Disney classic end. Bambi would have been a much different movie if this was how things turned out. There is a shop called Fragrant Flowers in Stormwind, run by a man named Bernard Gump. Of course, people who run flower shops are florists, so his title is Florist Gump, an obvious reference to the 1990s classic movie Forrest Gump.
Run, Forrest, run!
Blizzard has hidden a bunch of smiley faces in various parts of the game, but perhaps the largest is the one under the Tower of Karazhan. The best way to get a look at it is to log out near Karazhan, then log back in to see it briefly before the area loads in. In Hillsbrad Foothills, you'll find a rare mob named Gravis Slipknot, who upon initiating combat says, "Greetings, hapless adventurer. I ask only that you wait a moment and bleed." Metal band Slipknot has a song called Wait and Bleed, which is likely where his name and dialogue comes from. A number of guns in the game are referred to as Boomstick, a reference to how Ash Williams refers to his shotgun in Army of Darkness.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick!
In the Ungoro crater, you'll meet Larian and Mugen. Swap the first letters of their names and then remove the N from the end of their names, and you'll have Mario and Luigi. They're both wearing similar overalls to the famous Nintendo Duel as well. But the reference from here goes much deeper than meets the eye. Larian gives a quest that requires the player to fight the flower-like blood petals. This is actually a reference to Nintendo's original business before video games, printing cards for traditional Japanese card games called Hanafuda. Hanafuda roughly translates to War of Flowers. The ghost civilians in Strahlholm will dance with you if you give them the / command dance. You can even turn them hostile by attacking them, but they'll forget all about it if you dance with them again. If you give them the / command rude, they will also respond in kind. World of Warcraft makes repeated references to British comedy classic Monty Python and the Holy Grail, many of them referring to the famous Black Knight. When Kolagarn first appears in Ulduar, he uses the Black Knight's opening line, "None shall pass." He doubles down the reference when you destroy one of his arms, saying,
Just a scratch!
Oh. All right, we'll call it a draw.
The two boys fishing in Stormwind's Channel District also drop a couple of movie references, including a story about a rabbit who's bit someone's head off, a reference to Monty Python's Killer Rabbit, and the famous line from The Matrix,
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.
That's only few of the hundreds of Easter eggs to be found in World of Warcraft, and you can find many more of them over at wow.gamepedia.com. If we missed your favorite, let us know what it is in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our previous video of the geekiest WoW Easter eggs. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the game.